Hello, hi. So part two then of the Mojo 1 versus Mojo 2 video. I thought let's have a look inside and see what differences are. Of course we're using our 1.5 mil Allen key here to take these apart. So again, let's just turn these off. It's interesting to do turn off fairly quickly. So let's open the original Mojo first of all, shall we? And just remind ourselves what's okay, so that's the screws out now. I've just fast forwarded that to make it a little bit easier to watch. Now let's just carefully take this off, and I can't remember which way this opened. Now was it this way? It was indeed, it was this way. So let me see, is there any, let me see what is, look, there's our issue there. This small screw has come loose. Now that's interesting. So that was a small screw into this. So okay, let me just get a screwdriver actually, and I'm gonna, well, I'll pop that back in afterwards. So remind me if you can before I close it up. So there's the original, and you can see what you've mentioned about the free floating balls here, which I assumed was the noise, but these are the free floating balls, and these are the plungers that correspond with these pads and change it. So let's have a look inside the Mojo 2. Now, is that the same size? It is. So forgive me, but I'll be a little more careful with this one. And I will fast forward it now in a second, just so that we get there. So, the screws are different. That's the first one. You can see the difference there in the screws. So they're quite a bit longer. Don't know what those off camera. No, they're just about on camera. I'll keep these together. I wonder, is this screw slightly, oh, they're very tight, I have to say.
And here, so I just open these all very slightly just so I don't bend the case. That is interesting. There's a longer screw. So we'll keep that top left hand corner there.
And the last screw just to come out there. So just before I open this, so you can see one of the screws is very slightly different, which is strange. The head depth is different, and of course the actual shank length is different. So I wonder why they've done that. From what I can see, they're both hex heads, but it's a very strange change. And of course, if we compare the old screws and the new screws, again, the new screws are just that little bit longer as well. So I wonder why they felt the need to increase the travel distance of the thread and the screw. Anyway, let's open this up and see what we have. Now, I haven't opened this before, so I will be quite careful with it just to make sure, because I'm not sure which way it's connected. Ah, okay. So the battery is substantially bigger. Now let's see, so that was there. So yes, we can do this. We have to do it like this. So very first thing, they've moved from a green to a black board, of course, which is quite nice, isn't it? Now what else can we see? The battery is substantially bigger, and I was wrong. So, oh, maybe not. Ah, look. So instead of a ball this time, I've actually got a, what would you describe that as, a lozenge shape, maybe, which has been machined. Interesting. I wonder why they felt the need to do that. I have to say I much prefer this arrangement. And I assume that's the same for this. It is, yes. It's an interesting. I wonder, is that a casting or is that machined? I'm wondering, is that cast? It's not molded because there's no tool join line, which you normally get. I wonder, is that off a machined off a bar, and then is it rotary tumble just to give you that surface finish in it? So brilliant. You can see here the battery is not soldered or soldered, depending on where you come from, which is a great thing. So I suppose let's just follow the electrical path and see what we have. I wonder, should I lift this up a little higher so that we can see it better? Let me see if I have a box and we can set these up too, and we could bring these up closer to the camera. That might be nicer. Let's see. Here's it. There's a box here from the washing machine. Let me see if we can set these up. So forgive me 1 second. Let me just move these. Let me turn it upside down. I think this should give us a better. Now then, what about that? Is that better? Side by side. What's that look like on the screen? Maybe a little bit closer. There. I'm maybe fast forward that on the editing. Okay, so I don't want to use metal. Let me use a kid's plastic key here, just so that we don't get any in it. So let's again follow the electric path. So you can see the size of the battery. It's substantially bigger. And I wonder, can I read? If I take these plungers out, I wonder if I can read the particulars of the battery. Let's see what it says in it. Rated capacity is 1850 milliamps. Manufacturer TUR. And it's 13.69 watt hours. 13.69 watt hours. Let's see what this one was. Will it let me do this without taking... no. So this is not the original battery now. I replaced this battery on the original Mojo. So what we have here is 2000 milliamp hours and 14.8 watt hours. So 14.8 watt hours, and this one was again, yes, 13.69. So that's this battery is quite a bit bigger in volume, but actually this replacement battery that I have found is still larger. So I wonder, I'll do a wee test maybe and see how long each of them actually last on a full cycle. So let's go through part by part and see what they've changed. So if we follow the cable in, so they have changed this cable to make it a little bit slimmer in line, but I believe that is just a push-on connection, so it is. That's great. Maybe have a look to see how big a battery I could possibly fit in this. So this looks like a small relay, and it's an Omron relay made in China, unfortunately, but it's still a good brand. So yes, and here is our capacitors that they mentioned that they were going to replace, and they have done. So they have moved to surface mount, and see, so these small capacitors here, excuse me, are doing a very similar job. So with the chip itself, we have an Arctic 7, and this one is an Arctic 7. I wonder, can I make out the actual code there on that one? Be able to actually read it better